RV Capital Talks brought to you by Dicor, at the core of everything you do.
Hey, welcome to RV Capital Talk. I'm Andy McCaskey from RVNN TV, and of course our host, Sherman Goldenberg. Sherman, you've gone formal on me. I'm almost waiting for a sermon.
Well,
Tie and everything.
Number one, you won't get a sermon out of me. And number two, I never know how I'm going to dress next, Andy, as I told you so. You know, I don't know why I'm wearing a tie today, but I decided to Phil Ingrassia, the new president of the Recreation Vehicle Dealer Association. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
For obvious reasons, we've invited Phil to join us today after 16 years as Vice President of Communications for the Fairfax, Virginia-based RVDA, the key national trade association for recreation vehicle dealers. Phil, on April 2, stepped up to the presidency, succeeding Mike Molino, who for 16 years, succeeding Bob Strawn, actually, has stepped down to actually pursue some other interests. I'm not sure what Mike's going to do next. Are you, Phil? Do you have any idea what he's going to do?
Well, Mike will be an advisor to me, and so he will be active in RVDA, but he will be, you know, enjoying life, and he's certainly deserved it. He's been a wonderful mentor, not only to me and the rest of the staff, but to many dealers over the years. And he will be missed, but he will be around to provide some counsel to me. And you know, we're just really fortunate that Mike was able to be with RVDA as long as he was, because he took this organization forward in a number of ways that we will build on as we move forward.
Certainly, as a Type A personality, Mike, I can't imagine going and fishing for bluegill every day. I'm sure he's going to be busy.
I'm sure he will be too.
So, I guess one thing I'd like to ask you, or at least start off, Phil, is we noticed that in the release, the press release announcing, you're stepping up on April 2 to the head job at RVDA, that it, parallels the release on RVDA's new strategic plan. What is the significance of this strategic plan? Is it something that you follow more than some organizations? Some write them and walk away.
Well, I think for RVDA over the years, the strategic planning process has been a key to moving forward in a number of areas. Professional development, advocacy for dealers, being the dealer's voice, market expansion, and equitable member participation. Those are all kind of key tenets of the strategic plan. And what this new strategic plan does is build on the good work of past boards and sharpens our focus for the issues we're facing now. I think advocacy on the federal level is something that this board is very concerned about, as we look at a number of areas, unprecedented really, that dealers face as far as regulation on the way they finance vehicles, on certain requirements, compliance requirements they need to do on customer data and things like that. So there's a number of areas that are really key to how dealers sell units day to day and get their customers financed that we're very active in. And then there's some other issues, tax issues and things like that, that we need to be very concerned about moving forward.
Yeah, I think that you've been very inclusive over the years as far as size of dealerships, that you have large and small dealers. Did they face the same issues, or are there different issues for one versus the other?
Well, there are different issues, obviously, when you're a multi-point dealer versus a smaller mom and pop type operation. But when it comes down to certain key areas, one of them is the financing process that is highly regulated right now already, and there are people who would like to even see it more regulated. Those are some key areas of agreement among dealers. It doesn't matter if you're a $5 million a year dealer or a $55 million dollar annual sales dealer, or even bigger than that. Those are key issues that RVDA works on behalf of all dealers. And there are obviously disagreements among dealers that we know exist. But my goal as president will be to find where dealers can agree, work on those areas, and try to minimize the divisive issues that dealers might face. And I think over the years, RVDA has done a very good job with that, with a strong board and good leaders throughout the years that can find the common ground that all size dealers have.
Well, of course, one of the biggest questions on everyone's mind is what you see in your crystal ball there. We'll be back in just a moment to talk about that.
RV Capital Talks brought to you by the Dicor Corporation. Dicor Corporation is 4 specialized companies serving the RV industry. Dicor Products, United Shade, Seal Design, and Vixen Composites. Whether it's RV wheels, walls, shades, seals, or other specialty products, Dicor Corporation is at the core of everything you do.
Welcome back, Phil and Andy. I wanted to insert, Andy, that it's interesting. Earlier in his career, of course, Phil's still a young guy, but way earlier in his career, he reminded me before the show here, he was a TV guy. Where were you a TV guy?
I was a TV reporter for 5 years in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I worked at the NBC affiliate there, and got a real good introduction to the Midwest as far as the wide open spaces and all the great places there are to travel in South Dakota, Nebraska, and it was a great thing to do as a young person.
Looking ahead, and you started to do a little bit of that in talking about the strategic plan. If I asked you and kind of left it open, what your goals were, in the next time period, whether it's 1 year or 5 years, well, what are your key goals?
Well, RVDA is here to help dealers, and as the dealers go and as the industry goes, that's how RVDA goes. I mean, we've seen a very painful time in my tenure here. Over the past few years, we've counted 240 rooftops that have closed, and there's probably more than that, but those are the ones that we've actually counted that no longer exist. So when you're talking about consolidation of dealerships, membership, that means people are no longer employed in the industry. So it is tantamount to RVDA to be there as the industry recovers, to have the programs that help dealers get their employees educated. We do that through our convention and RV Learning Center programs. Work through Go RVing with our partners at RVIA to expand the market for RV products. And then, of course, be the voice of the dealer and try to keep government red tape to a minimum. We're already regulated, but there are people that would like to see even more regulation on financing and other areas of the transaction that really could hurt the RV business.
Go RV. Tell me about Go RVing. I mean, your organization, is a co-owner of the National Marketing Campaign. Other than what we know already about the latest campaign, etc., what can you comment on that?
Well, I think that Go RVing is evolved into really a multimedia campaign. We focus a lot on the TV commercials, and for good reason. They're still one of the best ways to reach new buyers, and that's a key part of it. RVIA and RVDA work very hard through Go RVing to expand the market and bring new buyers in. But we've also seen an explosion in online and social media, so it's a real multifaceted campaign that helps dealers and the entire industry get our message out in what is an increasingly crowded advertising environment. And it's been a program that has been a real uniting force for the industry over the years, and it's been one of my priorities in my previous position as Vice President of Communications, and it's going to continue to be a very important part of what RVDA does going forward.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't ask about shows and what the latest buzz is at RVDA regarding the Con Expo. I think it's a given that you're at this year in Vegas at the Rio, where you have been consistently over recent years. But where does it go from here?
Well, I think that the board of directors has heard from a number of dealers and other stakeholders in the industry that there's an issue with the timing in the last 4 months of the year, where you have the open house, the RVDA convention, you've got the Pomona show, and then you've got Louisville. And we're hearing that. We are talking with RVIA and our other industry partners about possible solutions to that. Nothing has been decided. There's been some preliminary talks about how co-locating events could work. But for the short term here, we're very focused on the RVDA convention that is going to be on October 1 through 5th at the Rio in Las Vegas, and we're busy working on putting together a good program for the dealers, and also providing an opportunity for our business partners to be in front of the dealers through our expo. So it's preliminary, it's ongoing, and I can tell the audience that the board of directors understands the problem and really wants to work to find a solution that wins for everybody and respects everyone's time at what is a very busy time of the year for everybody.
Well, I guess more or less, given the modern attention span of the average American, we've more or less lived out our time here on this show. And I can't tell you how much we do appreciate you joining us. We wish you, of course, best in your new job. And Andy, is this where we do our?
I think it's time to thank you for joining us here on RV Capital Talk, and hope you keep smiling.
Thanks, Sherm. Thanks, Andy.
Take care. Phil.